Thought you guys might.
Light the corners of my mind, misty watercolored memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind, smiles we gave to one.
Hello everybody, and welcome to my music and conversation show here. And welcome my guest Aubrey Logan.
Hi
Aubrey.
everybody. Welcome everybody. My name's Aubrey. Hi Michael. It's good to see
How
you.
you doing? So, it's so funny because we were talking right before of how much we have to know now about technology. So I had this whole thing planned. I was going to have a solo introduction and then set you up, and I pressed the wrong button and here you are. So let's just go with it. What do you think?
Hey, I think I'm happy to go with it. You can still do your introduction. I can introduce you. You're the belated birthday boy. So happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much. 25. I turned 25.
I mean, you don't look a day over 23, so I don't know how you do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Aubrey Logan, and it is my pleasure to have you on the show. And by the way, those incredible sounds was from her new album, Standards. And she is not only an unbelievably talented singer, but she plays the trombone like nobody's business.
Thank you.
Very impressive, and I love that arrangement. How are you?
I appreciate it. I'm doing really, really well. I'm hailing to you from Austin, Texas today. I'm in my house, and I look forward to playing on stage with you again soon, which seems like it's a lot more feasible these days, doesn't it?
I know, right?
Yeah.
But it's good to see you have power.
Oh yeah. Everybody
guys
forgot all about that. Yeah. Hell froze over for a while in February here in Texas, and a lot of people lost power. We did for a little bit, but now it's a distant memory because it's 95 degrees.
Okay. Well, it's absolutely a pleasure to have you on here, Aubrey. We have known each other for some years now, and every time I've seen you has always been such a fun, pleasurable time making music or just hanging out. But you're kind of, I don't want to say you're new to sort of the whole contemporary jazz, smooth jazz, but you are a newer member of the. Right? You're kind of a newer member. You came from a whole nother thing, right?
I don't know that I'm still allowed. I don't know that I'm allowed in the smooth jazz club. I get invited to some of the parties though. So it's an honor to be an honorary smooth jazz person from time to time. It's certainly not in my wheelhouse, except it's so fun. And I got a chance to tour with Dave Koz and the Summer Horns, and I met you through Dave on his cruises, and it's really because he's so cool. He's willing to let these people from all sorts of realms in to the party, and it's quite the party.
Well, I almost want to say that Dave is sort of our ambassador for the whole format. He's been doing it for a very long time, but I kind of knew about you before that because one of my best friends is Jaron Lowenstein, who is the manager of Postmodern Jukebox. Well, we'll get it, and which you have been and are a big part of their whole lineup and all of that stuff.
Very good friends of mine.
Can we go back, since you're sort of a newbie in our format? Go back. Where did it all start for you?
When I'm from the Seattle area.
Okay.
I was born and raised near Seattle in a town called Snohomish, Washington. And I have two music teachers for parents.
Right.
They both they taught choir and band, and in middle school and high school. And so I had music kind of going all the time growing up. Now, it wasn't just because they were teachers that made me become a musician. It was more of their musical tastes that did it. Because I grew up hearing everything from Beethoven to Dolly Parton to Buddy Rich and Dexter Gordon and Ella Fitzgerald, all within the time span of 25 minutes. And when you're a kid, you just think that's normal. You think everything's normal when you're a kid. And so it's really their eclectic tastes that got me into music. And I would emulate singers. I got my start singing, and it would be because my mom would be playing Whitney Houston, playing Karen Carpenter, playing Ella, and I'd try to emulate them. And so I wanted to sing so bad, and I got into musical theater at first because that was what was available. And so I know musical theater, it's a shock. And I got on stage, learned to kind of work hard as a child, did a lot of child roles, and then started playing the trombone when I was 12 years old, a little later. And that got me into jazz. And so I was singing a lot of pop and a lot of musical theater.
Right.
And then when I started playing the trombone, I was exposed to big bands, Buddy Rich and Stan Kenton and Basie. And then I started playing jazz. And then when I started playing jazz, I started singing jazz.
Right.
And so that's kind of why the R&B and the pop and the jazz kind of merged.
Well, it all kind of makes sense now, because I've wondered myself, really, where you got all those influences from, because usually people kind of specialize in one field. You're either a jazz or a big band or a straight ahead or a contemporary, or you're it all. You're really, and I was always, how did that work? You could sing. I mean, you can play R&B, but then you can sing, you can scat like Ella Fitzgerald. I mean, it's just really remarkable.
Thank you.
How versatile you are. So it makes sense now. Now, were your parents your teachers as well?
Well, not formally. Not a lot of 10-year-olds are like willing to let their dads give them the metronome and tell them to use it. It's like, leave me alone. They did help me. And I learned many things from them because, they raised me. But I did have formal teachers, like at school, and I studied opera, and then I went to Berklee College of Music and did a lot of. I did a lot of school. The school I went to had a great jazz program, and I really think that's important because it kind of teaches responsibility. It teaches teamwork. It teaches, work hard, do your show, be proud of the fact you did your show. And we went to a lot of festivals, and I participated in all that. So they weren't like my direct teachers. However, every time I write a set list that's good, it's probably because my mom's voice is in my head going, you shouldn't do that song after that song. It's so kind of. Oh, hi, Cheryl. That's sweet.
So what came first, the trombone or the vocals?
The vocals. Yeah, the trombone is my the thorn in my flesh. It's a difficult thing. It's my fault for choosing it. No, I don't regret it at all. It came later. Yeah. And all my friends were in the band, and I was done doing musical theater, and I needed to be in the band because all my friends were. So that's why.
Trombone, of all the instruments, why the trombone? I mean, it's not an unusual instrument, but it's just for why not the sax? Why not the flute? Why not the drums? I mean, why the trombone?
My dad's a trumpet player, so I had like the brass sort of exposure, I suppose. I had exposure to all of them, I guess. What it boils down to was the time and the place and the situation. So the situation was, I was late joining band. All the other kids had joined first, like years prior to me, and I had to catch up with them. The band director, and I remember it this way, my middle school band director looking at me saying, please don't pick the flute. I have way too many flautists. Yeah. And my dad, who was a band director at another school, he brought home a saxophone, a trombone, a French horn, a clarinet, a flute, and he had his trumpet. And I kind of went down the line. And when I picked up the trombone, I could make a sound on it. It wasn't a very pretty sound, but it was a sound. And because my parents' taste in music, they would listen to James Brown all the time. They listened to Chicago all the time. They listened to I mean, they were playing Frank Rosalino and J.J. Johnson in the house. So I had a frame of reference for it, for the trombone. And I also think that it's a flexible instrument. It growls, it slides, it can whisper and it can sing. And I was already a singer. And so I felt that connection. I was 12 years old. I picked it, but I think it's because of all that.
Right. Well, we're happy you picked it. Because you're like a trombone virtuoso. I mean, we're working on a song for my staged show this Sunday, and hearing the first song of this show here, The Way We Were. I mean, you have such a melodic sense and such a sweet tone on that trombone.
Thanks, Michael.
It is kind of like a voice.
Right.
Saxophone has always been referred to like the instruments of the voice because it's named after them, soprano, alto, tenor. But to be honest with you, when I heard that bone, the way you played it, it almost made me feel like this is how somebody would sing it, so tender and beautiful. Yeah.
Thanks.
So, as I mentioned earlier, I got to know you through Postmodern Jukebox. But before that, right, there was a little TV show called American Idol.
Yeah, I was on there for one day before they kicked me off. Yeah.
Tell us about that experience.
Let's see. I was probably the ripe old age of 21, which is, everybody knows everything about everything when they're 21. And it was just kind of what you did. It was sort of what was expected if you were a singer. You auditioned. So I did. I think I sang Don't You Worry About a Thing. Hi, Ronan. I think I sang Don't You Worry About a Thing. And I got a yes from Paula Abdul and Randy Jackson and Cara DioGuardi and a hard no from Simon. Then they sent me to Hollywood Week because I had enough yeses, I suppose.
By the way, it is so harsh. I mean, it's so harsh.
Yeah. And then I got a hard no in Hollywood. And then 1 month later, I won first place at the Montreux Jazz Festival for the vocal competition. So it was a bit of whiplash that year. But I'm so glad I did it. And I learned about kind of reality television, and I learned about nothing's guaranteed in this world, and everything's a little wacky. And I wasn't their cup of tea, it just wasn't.
Well, I'll tell you whose cup of tea you were, Scott Bradley in Postmodern Jukebox.
He's a good guy. Love
so
that
how
guy.
did that? I know that from our mutual buddy Jaron that he also worked with a lot of the singers, really, but a lot of the artists from American Idol. So is that how you got on his radar, or
it's not? No,
okay.
No, it isn't. Scott called me.
Right.
I had a YouTube channel. I was living in LA. And I was doing similar things to Scott. See, Scott goes right on the nose. Postmodern Jukebox kind of goes right on the nose with like that period 20s or 50s thing.
You should probably tell people may not be familiar with Scott Bradley, but they certainly are familiar with Postmodern Jukebox. Yeah.
Right. Scott is the founder.
Right.
So I use them Scott is Postmodern Jukebox. So I just use it interchangeably. But so he would take pop songs and make them sound 40s or sound there they are, sound 20s and look that way as displayed by this photo here. So I was doing something sort of similar. I mean, I was taking like modern rap hip hop tunes and turning them into like more of a out modern jazz thing. And Scott found me through what I was doing, which was sort of Postmodern Jukebox adjacent, but not like as it still is like that. And so I got a phone call from Scott one day, would you please do a video with me? And I knew who he was. I'm like thinking, of course I'm going to. And so I remember thinking to myself, okay, they're already viral and they have a lot of views. So if I'm going to show up here, I better show up prepared. So I arranged this rendition of Bad Blood by Taylor Swift, but with the rap verse by Kendrick Lamar, vocalized. And I just wrote a bass line and a melody. I wrote some chords in, but I was like, Scott will do the rest. I brought it to him, and it was very much, I wanted it kind of be done, because it's like, I get one shot here. And I know what I can do. and I'm going to bring it over and see if he likes it. And he did. And then his idea was to have, he does crazy things. This is why he's so
he
brilliant.
likes unusual things. He likes, the more sort of unusual they are, the better for him,
He said,
right?
how do you feel about us throwing the trombone to you for your solo? And I'm like, I thought he was kidding. I'm like, are you kidding? And he's like, no. And so you can see it. It's up on YouTube to this day on Bad Blood. They threw it to me and then I played.
Tell me that you didn't drop it at any moment in time,
No,
right?
we didn't. No, we didn't.
That's a good thing.
And, you know, at the time I was thinking if I drop it, whatever.
Yeah. And did you end up also doing some of their tours, or I
quite
think
a
you
few.
did, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And my God, you guys are just working. I mean, they're just all. Now they got two or three going out at the same time in different parts of the world.
It's like gosh, it's like SNL for singers. We all kind of get together on SNL, or rather Postmodern Jukebox, and then we all do our own thing, and then we come together, and then we do our own thing. It's like, it's cool.
Very cool. Well, it takes me to talk about your new album, Standards.
Standard, no S.
No S. Okay. Well,
there's
more than one on there, so.
You're right. Kind of.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go to Standard.
Yeah.
So you take not necessarily from the American Songbook, but the Great American Songbook, but standards just in general, and you kind of do a unique thing with the songs. Give them your special treatment. Tell us a little bit about that album.
So I arranged it during the pandemic, during the shutdowns.
Right.
And it's my third album, and it's the first album I've done that's got mostly covers on it. 2 originals and the rest covers, whereas the others were the reverse of that. And it's basically the songs that I binged on as a teenager.
Right.
And I, you know, when the world is shut down and you're stuck in your home, you start to do the things you always thought, I can never do that. I better never do that. I can't do that. You know, I shouldn't do that. Like I did a rendition of MacArthur Park, which is one of the most ridiculous songs of all time, but I would call it a disco standard thanks to Donna Summer, who did it after Richard Harris and Maynard Ferguson. I think that the Marriage of Figaro, the Largo al factot, Figaro, you know, that's an opera standard, and it's part of my background as well. So I arranged it as a jazz thing. So it's a jazz album, and it is an album of standards, but I don't promise that it's an album of jazz standards necessarily.
Right.
And then even the 2 originals, one of them is a pop, like I did on my first album as a pop, Louboutins, as a pop produced thing. And the fans that have been with me for a long time, the OGs, and I know some of them are watching, they really liked that one. Right. And so I thought, you know what, for their sake, I'm going to call it a standard for them, and we'll make it a jazz arrangement of it. Right. So we did that. And then the other original tune on it is called Done Pretending, and it was just my attempt at writing a Cole Porter song. So it's in a standard, you know, and so that's what we did. And it's got some movie film standards in it and things like that.
Well, it is such a cool, unique project. So I think let's get to a little music here. You recorded an amazing video for Louboutins.
Thanks.
So let's
it's
run
just
it.
the studio. It's just us in the studio making it.
Is it really?
It's one take. We didn't overdub anything. What you're hearing is what you're seeing. No overdubs
kidding.
except the trombone, but just one take vocal and one take. The whole album is that. No, we didn't redo anything. That's the only song we did to click.
Right. Well, that is very impressive. Here is Aubrey Logan, Louis Vuittons.
Red bottoms won't get you on down. You can talk it, girl, but can you walk? the walk, know how to work it, but is it worth it? Whose heels are you treading on? Are these babies gonna change your life? Set your feet on the yellow brick road tonight. You're somebody when you're nobody, pretending like there's nothing wrong. Oh, 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 I can't dance in these Louboutins. They kinda hurt my feet. I wanna take them off. I know they'd be expensive and you think they're hot, but baby, I just can't dance in these Louboutins. Your fiction is a well-known fact. Getting used to the power and the play of the balancing act. I know how to work it, but is it worth it? Whose floor are you treading on? Oh, 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 I can't dance in these Louboutins. They kinda hurt my feet. I wanna take them off. I know they'd be expensive and you think they're hot, but baby, I just can't dance in these Louboutins. It ain't about the money, it ain't about the beat, it ain't about your diva or the shoes upon her feet. Don't matter where you are, they'll make you feel like you belong, but baby, I just can't dance in these I can't dance, no, I can't dance in these. They kinda hurt, they kinda hurt, they kinda hurt. I know they'd be expensive and you think they're hot, but baby, I just can't dance in these
Oh man, that is too cool.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a song about shoes, but hopefully it's about more than shoes. It was when I was first moved to LA and my management team hired a stylist to help me, meaning somebody to make me look better. And he came up to me and said, "Sweetie, right now you're a nobody. And in order to make you seem like a somebody, we have to get you a pair of Louboutins."
Is that for real?
Yeah. So I promptly drained my bank account, $400 per shoe, and I have 2 feet. So yeah,
Wow.
that's for real. But it's a song about more
But
than that. But yeah.
look at what came out of it. A cool song came out of it, and you still have the shoes. And
I do. I have them. They're the most uncomfortable shoes I own, but they're very pretty.
Well, those red bottoms, they are a spot at a mile
They're
away. But,
iconic,
yeah, they sure are. What talk about branding? Oh my
And of course,
goodness.
you know what they are, Michael.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, I'm not sure how to take that one, but okay.
Because you're very stylish.
Well, thank you. Aubrey,
Well, and Carrie is very stylish.
Yeah, that is
so.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, this song showcases your incredible talent,
Thank you.
both from the trombone, but particularly this song on the vocals. I mean,
Thank you.
how many octaves is that? I mean, it sounds like who knows, right? Who's counting? But it's
No, it's like only 3. It's just an illusion.
It sounded
but
like
thank you.
27. You sound so wonderful, and
you,
I'm
Michael.
really excited to have you as my guest.
Cannot wait.
this Sunday on my staged show, I should show a little thing here because
go get your tickets.
It is, yes, and it is on Stage It this Sunday, June 20th at 5 p.m. A Father's Day special, you know, and
it's gonna be awesome.
I am a new father, so you know I get to have a special.
You should. You must. And I think all the fathers need to sit back, relax, and enjoy it on Sunday.
Well, that's exactly what. So this show is going to be kind of a unique show because for the first time, you know, I will be doing songs from the Great American Songbook.
Oh.
And so it's going to be the last show I did was a live show, literally a live show. There was all my live arrangements, and then the show before was called Let's Party. So people have been out of their seat, they've been dancing. So this show is kind of a different type of show. I think they're going to be sitting in their chair, on their couch.
They're going to need
at their
a cigar.
home bar with a little cigar maybe, but definitely their favorite cocktail.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what this show is about. So it's going to be a little bit different than and I'm so excited to have you on it.
Thank you for
we
having me.
are doing a duet of, well, we can't call it a duet from the Great American Songbook, but it certainly is a classic song.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think the 70s was full of classic songs that we can call standards now.
Yeah. Would you go as far as say you would be pretty sure that everybody's going to know this song?
Everybody's going to know the song, and they will be singing along.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love this particular arrangement very much. Again, very cool and very unique. So I am excited that you're on the show. It was only about time that we did something together. So
right,
you know,
I'm honored that you called me.
Yeah,
I was sitting on the couch when you called, and you called me to do your show, and I got off the phone and I looked at my husband and I said, Chris, I got the call. I made it. I made it on the Michael Lington show.
Even if that's not true, I so appreciate the sentiment, you know. But this Sunday at 5 p.m., Father's Day special, playing the classics, including my special guest, Aubrey Logan. And very easy to watch. You get a ticket, pay what you can. My shows are pay what you can.
Yep.
And at this point, almost 50 shows in, we have one of the most incredible communities that it makes me so happy. I actually, when I take a week off, I miss it and miss them terribly because it's such a labor of love is not really the word. It's a love fest. How's that?
And you know, we as artists, Michael and I'm sure I can speak for you when I say this, Michael. We really appreciate everyone's comments, don't we?
Well, I mean. Yes, 1,000%. Yeah. I mean, 1,000%. But it's even more than that. I mean, people show up week after week, and the support for live music, for the artistry, but also support within their own group. It's just been a beautiful thing to see. And one of my favorite things, to be honest with you, is to about 15 minutes before the show starts, there is this kind of a chat wall, and people are having all of these kind of conversations off the show, and they get to know each other. They're friends, and they're talking. Really, how was your week? Where are you at? What are you drinking? Where are you sitting? And
so
so amazing, you know. And doing this last year, where we were all sidelined, it has provided me so much purpose and joy to do these shows. And I'm excited that you're on it. Finally, you're on it.
I'm so happy to be on it. You know, I've done the same. I've been doing shows through a platform called Veeps.
Oh, okay.
And for a while there, it was we play live in front of the cameras.
Right.
And I had to learn how to play live in front of a camera. It took more energy than I imagined it would. Because you really aren't getting anything back.
Right.
But now that there's an audience in the room a little bit now here, I play at this club in Texas. I'm still doing the live stream shows. I'm still keeping the cameras on, and people can, because there's a lot of folks from like other overseas, other time zones that want to tune in, and they can, and it's been really nice. And that chat before the show is really fun. I usually get on it backstage before we start, and it's always a ball.
Yeah, it's been a crazy experience we all had to have this last year. I mean, I didn't really know a lot about cameras and lighting and
You
technology
became a
stuff.
master.
Well, I just, it was literally one foot in front of each other, and the way I did it was like I added one new element per show. That's how
A little thing at a time. Okay.
One little thing at a time.
That's how you have to do it.
Yeah. Do you know what the last thing I added was?
What?
Oh,
cat?
No, that's you. You added a cat.
I think he added himself.
Okay,
What did you add? What did you add?
You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I added a smoke machine.
You know what?
Is that crazy?
You're not crazy.
Are you sure? Because I think I'm a little crazy now.
It makes things look amazing, right, Frank? Right, Frank? Don't you like a smoke machine?
So anyway, again, I hope that everybody will be able to tune in. We have a great crowd already, but of course we always have room for more. And go to michaellington.com for more tickets. Now, Aubrey, are you still doing shows on your platform? Is it Weeps, you said?
Veeps, V-E-E-P-S.
Okay,
yeah.
Veeps, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm doing some shows in person soon. I'll be doing Vitello's in LA on July 25th, and I'll be at Spaghettini on the 24th, and Ventura on the 23rd. But we are live streaming some of them, and then July 1st, I'll be doing a Veeps show live from Austin.
Great.
Yeah.
And which takes us to what's next, which sounds like you're going to be on the road a bit.
Be on the road a bit.
Yeah.
As things pop up, I am trying to become the first dork on the dance floor. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how much did you miss being on the road this last year?
I mean, the road is tough, but the shows are great.
Yeah, that is true.
And I'll always, it'll always be that way.
Right. So what is next? So you just released an album, so you'll be out promoting that, touring.
Absolutely.
Tell us about. You told us you're going to be in LA and Ventura.
Yes.
Where else can not only can we see you live, but also where can we keep in touch with you?
AubreyLogan.com, and there's a button on that website that says follow. That's my email list, and that's how you can get notified when I'm in your town or doing a live stream or all of the above. So and there's a tour page, and you can grab your tickets and all that stuff. And Colleen, that's right. And that's the best way to do it. And I'm pretty active on social media, and that website will take you to my Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all of that, and YouTube and all that good stuff.
Well, Aubrey, thank you so much for taking the time today and also Sunday for being a part of my little music community. And I know that my audience, my fans, are going to enjoy you to the max. So
I look forward to hanging out with them, and my dad will be watching on Father's
cool.
Day. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Aubrey, and I hope to see you soon somewhere on the road.
Thanks, Michael, and happy belated birthday. Congratulations on the Billboard #1, and happy Father's Day.
Thank you so much. See you later.
See ya.
And there you have it, Aubrey. There she is.
We did it. Way to go.
So, thank you, Aubrey, for being a guest on the show today. It was lovely to have you on, and I'm very excited again for this upcoming, I'll show you guys the little graphic here again, this upcoming Sunday on Stage It, on my Classics stated show for Father's Day, 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to have a good time. It's definitely a sit back, kick back with a cocktail on your favorite beverage and have a wonderful time. Enjoy some of the greatest songs ever written. And also, lastly, I would just remind you that I'd love to stay in touch with you, and I'd love for you to be on special notification and get the first news, because there will be quite a few tour dates this year. There'll be more live shows. And by the way, the second single from my new album started at #1 most edits today, so I'm very excited about that. But I'm showing you this because what I'd like you to do is take your phone out right now and go to, actually I'm going to show you this instead, it might be a little easier. There you go. Take your phone out, and then I'm going to show you right now how you can be on that special notification list. You create a new text. Go to your messages, create a new text, and where the number goes, you put in 797979, and then in the part down where you write the message, you go ML Sax. and you'll get a little bounce back, and it'll tell you how to sign up. So we'll try it again, 797979, and then just text ML Sax. That way we're in touch. Thank you so much, everybody, and hope to see you hope to see you this Sunday, but also next Wednesday for another edition of Music and Conversation. There you go.
Red bottoms won't get you on top. You can talk it, girl, but can you walk the walk? Know how to work it, but is it worth it? Whose heels are you treading on? Are these babies gonna change your life?